What SRTO 2025 expects from RTO leaders now? Do you struggle with governance beyond paperwork, wondering how to make risk management actually work for your RTO, or how to turn student data into real leadership decisions? Meet Ben, a seasoned leader with over 15 years of experience in compliance and RTO management. As a certified leadership coach, he has guided countless RTOs to achieve audit readiness and sustainable growth. Joining him is Liz McMillan, founder of the Cadence Method and former CEO of Dictionary.com. With over 35,000 hours of executive leadership experience across the US and Australia, Liz has helped CEOs and leadership teams reset, realign, and scale sustainably. In today's session, you'll discover what ASQA expects from leaders now, how to build a Risk-Smart RTO, ways to turn data into smart decisions, and how to document oversight that keeps your RTO safe. This webinar is proudly presented by Vet Resources, your trusted partner in the RTO industry. At Vet Resources, we go beyond training, expert RTO consulting services, addition to scope services, the best RTO resources, learning and assessment kits, RPL kits, SCORM, and e-learning files. Because at Vet Resources, we don't just provide services, we provide value to the RTO community. Your journey to confident RTO leadership starts right here. What SRTO 2025 expects from RTO leaders now? Do you struggle with governance beyond paperwork, wondering how to make risk management actually work for your RTO, or how to turn student data into real leadership decisions? Meet Ben, a seasoned leader with over 15 years of experience in compliance and RTO management. As a certified leadership coach, he has guided countless RTOs to achieve audit readiness and sustainable growth. Joining him is Liz McMillan, founder of the Cadence Method and former CEO of Dictionary.com. With over 35,000 hours of executive leadership experience across the US and Australia, Liz has helped CEOs and leadership teams reset, realign, and scale sustainably. In today's session, you'll discover what ASQA expects from leaders now, how to build a Risk-Smart RTO, ways to turn data into smart decisions, and how to document oversight that keeps your RTO safe. This webinar is proudly presented by Vet Resources, your trusted partner in the RTO industry. At Vet Resources, we go beyond training, expert RTO consulting services, addition to scope services, the best RTO resources, learning and assessment kits, RPL kits, SCORM, and e-learning files. Because at Vet Resources, we don't just provide services, we provide value to the RTO community. Your journey to confident RTO leadership starts right here.
Hello, everyone. I hope I'm audible. And I would love if you all can turn on your mic so I can see your faces. Hello, hello. Good morning, everyone, and very warm welcome to all of you on today's webinar, What SRTO 2025 Expects from RTO Leaders Now. I am Mahi, and I'll be your host for today's session. And as you all know, this webinar is proudly presented by Vet Resources and Vet Advisory Group, who are dedicated to adding real value to RTOs like yours through practical insights, expert guidance, and a community learning. Before we start, I would just request you to all of you, please turn on your cameras so we can engage with you in better way, and we can know you in better way. As you all know, we are trying to build a community here, and we help you out, and we want all of you to help each other as well. So it would be amazing to see your lovely faces. Thank you so much, whoever has turned on their cameras. And also, before we start, I would like to highlight one important information and a benefit of attending today's webinar. Everyone who is going to complete the full session today is going to receive a professional development certificate, and this isn't recognition. This certificate can be used as an evidence for your currency as a leader, which is now an expectation under new standards. And this is something you can keep on record for audit purposes. And now let's meet our speakers. Mr. Ben Tucker, many of us already know him. He is the CEO of Vet Resources. Hello, Ben. And he is our champion of compliance with over 15 years of experience helping thousands of RTOs navigate complex compliances and helping and guiding them throughout their audits as well. So, hi, Ben. How are you?
Good, my first. Just want to say thank you to all of you. I'm very excited to, share the learning that I have and, look forward to even learn from everyone.
Perfect. Thank you so much. And we are so much excited to learn from you. And along with you, joining us today, our guest speaker, Liz McMillan. Hello, Liz. How are you? We are super excited. We are super excited that someone new is here, and everyone here is also very excited to see you. Many of you already know Liz very well. Liz is the founder of the Cadence Method, and she's a business strategist. She has worked with the leaders and organizations across US and Australia. She is passionate about helping business become scalable, impactful, and legacy worthy. Today, she will share her expertise on how strong a leadership can shape the future of RTO businesses. So, hi, Liz. How are you?
Hi, Mahi. I'm well, thank you. Thank you so much for that warm introduction. You're very good at this.
Thank you.
I'm so excited to be here. This is such an important conversation about how to take something as important as compliance and turn it into something that is a must-do, into something that can actually create value for the organization. So I'm so excited.
Thank you so much. And before we start the entire session, I want to inform all of you, and there's basically a few instructions for everybody who is joining today. So first one is your microphone will be muted to avoid the background noises. And if you have any questions, please make sure to put your questions on Q&A box or a chat box. We will try to cover all the questions. And not basically as many questions as possible. And if any of the question that we could not get to, we will try and cover in the next upcoming video. And just because we have two wonderful speakers here, and just to avoid the confusion, all I want you to request is when you put your question down, if it is directed to Liz, just put Liz's name next to it. And if it is directed to Ben, make sure you write Ben's name next to it so we know who to ask question and we can get the exact information especially for you, so it can help you as well. And without further ado, I would hand it over to Liz, and we are super excited to learn from you now. And pretty much, I think I would say, have your pen and paper ready, keep your notes ready, and let's get started.
Thank you so much. I'm just going to share my screen here. Give me 1 second to do the technical things. Okay.
Sure.
Hopefully that's working. So before I jump into today's topic, I would love to just take 1 minute to share a little bit about me and why I am so excited to join this conversation, although I don't have an RTO background. But why this conversation about leadership and values matters so much to me. And I'm talking about compliance from the perspective of values, because I think this is my advice to you to address it from a values-based perspective. So I have spent over 35,000 hours leading and scaling businesses, and often I would step into businesses that were stuck, misaligned, not growing, not performing, and transforming them into high-performing, high-value, exit-ready assets. And those experiences taught me that success isn't always about systems or strategy or process. It's usually about leadership. It's about the values that you embed into your culture and how those values show up in the everyday decisions that your leaders make. Today, my work is focused on coaching and support and consulting with business owners, executives, CEOs, leadership teams who are ready to build businesses that truly reflect their purpose and increase their long-term impact and value to create legacy-worthy businesses. I've developed what I call the cadence method. It's a 5-step framework that brings leadership, systems, culture, and strategy into alignment so that a business becomes not just scalable and investable, but that legacy-worthy asset that we're talking about. I don't consider myself to be a coach or an advisor, just a coach, although I am, or just a consultant, although I am. I see myself as a strategic advisor, a leadership whisperer, and a transformation partner. And that's the perspective I would like to bring to today's conversation. That compliance standards are really about embedding values into culture that can make it the difference between just checking the box because the regulators say you have to, and creating real and lasting change that drives growth and performance and student outcomes and legacy for your organization. Before we go any further, I'd like to start with a story. In 2016, I was the CEO of dictionary.com. I was responsible for a team of 60 people and revenue of about $25 million US. And I was living a double life. On the outside, I was unshakable. When the business was on fire, when tough decisions had to be made, I always delivered. I was a fixer. I was one who could hold it all with precision, with calm and clarity. Professionally, I was made of steel. But on the inside, behind the curtain, I was unraveling. My private life was a mess. I was stuck in a marriage that was marked by emotional and physical abuse. I was crushed under a mountain of debt. I was spiritually depleted. I was living under the constant ache of shame. I was disconnected from my children. And I was really terrified that someone in my professional life one of those 60 people that I was responsible for managing, or the owners of the organization that I was accountable to, might see through this curtain that I had put up and see what was really going on in my life. So I was walking around wearing this big mask, pretending. And you know, it was the ultimate misalignment, and that misalignment really seeped into my leadership, because when you're pretending, when you're performing, people can tell. People know. They don't necessarily know what the performance is or what it is that you're hiding, but they get it. They can see. And so people on my team started resigning. Those who stayed were demotivated. Progress in the business really stalled. Nothing happened unless I really started bossing people around and demanding it. My leadership became really shallow. It was reactive. It was tactical. And I was exhausted. I was exhausted intellectually and emotionally. I bent myself over backwards trying to please the owners of the business, but I didn't really stand for anything. The ownership valued my performance, but the team didn't trust me. And why would they? I wasn't actually leading the business anywhere meaningful. So then one day, everything changed. Sorry, I forgot to click. I got a little caught up in my story. One day, everything changed. I left my marriage. And it wasn't a graceful or planned exit. It was very traumatic. I drove away in my car with my 3 terrified children and a few suitcases and an emergency restraining order. And I began rebuilding my life one step at a time. Now, this is a very personal story, but I'm telling it because of the change that it created for me professionally. Because 3 days later, I had to return to work. Well, I didn't have to, but I chose to return to work because I was due to host an all-hands presentation for those 60 people who had lost trust in me. But I was due to host a presentation about the company values. And that was important. Like, the company values had been eroded, and all of a sudden, my values in myself were being questioned, and I was reevaluating all of my personal values, and I needed to show up at work and hold a presentation about the workplace values. I hadn't secured childcare for my children yet, so I brought my children with me to that meeting, and my bruises hadn't healed yet, so my bruises came with me too. For the first time in that meeting, I showed up as my whole self, as all me, I brought all of me to that meeting. And I showed up as a whole leader to that meeting. And I can still remember the room going very quiet as I walked in. And I can remember a team member holding eye contact with me with tears in her eyes, because for the first time, the team saw me as a person, not as a shallow leader. And when I spoke about trust as a company value, I was trusting the team to hold space for me. And they did. And this is the moment that I became an aligned leader, because I wasn't performing trust or pretending trust. I was actually living trust and showing the vulnerability to be in trust. And so from that day forward, the team accepted me for who I was, all of me, and together we changed the company. We lived our values, we acted with purpose, and we created real transformational value for the company and the ownership. Everything accelerated. We marched with purpose towards our goals. And 2 years later, we divested that company for $90 million. But here's the thing. My alignment was painful. It came through rupture. I don't recommend that. You don't have to find your alignment through crisis. You can choose to find alignment with intention. You can choose to follow some steps, choose a method, and seek out alignment with intention. And when you do that, you will shortcut all of the pain and heartache. And you will also transform your entire organization the same way I did. So let's talk about for a minute, what is your ultimate goal? We're here to talk about compliance. Compliance is important, but it is actually, I think, your baseline. It's the thing you have to do to stay in business. It's the thing you have to do to mitigate risk. It keeps the regulators happy. It reduces risk. But really, your standard is student outcomes. Without student outcomes, you don't have a thriving business. And I would say without student outcomes, nothing else matters. But I would also argue, like, let's take it up a level higher than that. Isn't what you want really an enduring asset? A business that will generate ongoing income, have an amazing reputation, and one day maybe even be something you can sell or pass on? Isn't that your ultimate goal? And if so, this is why alignment matters. When leaders are aligned, their values and their purpose and their culture, compliance stops being a tick the box exercise, and it becomes something that lives in the day-to-day of the business, and something that can also create value for you, more than just being something that requires you to tick the box and reduce risk. It can create that reputation, it can create student outcomes, and it can create value for you. And alignment is what is going to be the superpower that transforms that compliance from a tick the box exercise to a driver of excellence, reputation, and enduring value. So let's do a little exercise here. This is one for you all to try while I walk you through it. I call this the alignment lens. It's very simple. I want you to think about for a moment, what would happen if everyone in your RTO kept working exactly the way they work today without your oversight? If you went away, if you stopped looking over their shoulders, if you stopped checking their work, if you stopped constantly observing, giving instructions, double checking their work, if you stopped overseeing everything everyone does in your organization, what would happen? Would compliance be secure? Would student outcomes improve? And would they arrive at the outcomes that you intend for your business, for your RTO? And this is the alignment lens, because true alignment means that compliance isn't held together by your constant check-in or control. It's lived out in the daily actions of people, and it means that student outcomes improve not by accident, but by design. And this will bring us to the aligned leader, because alignment always begins with leadership. When leaders model alignment, the culture, the compliance, and the outcomes will follow. So what am I talking about? What is this aligned leader that I keep referring to? Well, you've probably heard of the phrase winning the hearts and minds of your team. It's a kind of cliche that gets thrown around. But what does that actually mean? It's really cool. I like to say that the heart needs stories. It needs songs. It needs metaphor. It needs things that move it. The brain needs structure. It needs systems. It needs processes. It needs architectures. It needs things to be really organized and logical. Now, the beauty happens when the heart and the mind come into alignment and the story and the logic work together. This is what I call the aligned leader. Because the thing is, neither on their own are really enough. Systems without heart become rigid. They become mechanical, compliance for compliance sake. And heart without a system becomes just words that never translate into consistent practice. It's when you can bring these two together that everything starts to become magical. On the one side of this model, you have heart. It's the source of purpose, of meaning, of connection. It's your values in motion. The heart asks, why does this matter? Who does this serve? And in an RTO, the heart is what humanizes compliance, making standards something people believe in, not just follow. On the other side, you have your systems. This is the structure behind the clarity. Consistency and scale. The systems ask, how will this work? How will we make it last? They ensure compliance is consistent, that student outcomes are measurable, and that improvement is sustainable. And it's when you bring the whole structure, the story and the structure together, when your systems intersect with your values, that the whole thing sings. That's when your team doesn't just comply with compliance, they commit to compliance. They truly start to believe in what you're building. And that is the essence of an aligned leader. They are leading with heart and scaling with systems, embedding compliance through culture and creating through intention. So I want to be clear, when I talk about alignment, I'm not talking about it as something that is nice to have. Misalignment is actually costing you. It's a real cost. When your systems are driving activity and keeping people busy, but not actually anchored in purpose, your profit and your growth will not translate into meaningful results. When your values are spoken, or worse still, just some words hung on the wall, they're not structured into your culture, your team clarity will disappear, and compliance will be something you have to chase, that you'll be constantly worried about if you're audit ready. And it will not be something that actually just happens because it's built in as part of the system, as part of the song that your business sings. When you as the leader are the backstop for everything, the one who has to constantly check and monitor and oversee if things are happening, Scalability will stall, well-being will erode, there will be no joy, and you will be buried under management tasks. This is what the misalignment is costing you. Let's talk about what alignment could make possible. It changes everything. With alignment, your systems will amplify what matters to you. So growth can be scalable and compliance can lift quality, not just effort. We're talking about compliance becoming a revenue driver, not just a cost center. Your values becoming operational, so your culture acts with purpose, not just to satisfy regulators, but to deliver genuine student outcomes. Your business can run without you at the center because your systems will be designed to carry your vision, not just your hustle. And with that, you can gain peace of mind knowing that you're audit ready, making decisions with conviction, not just guesswork. And most important, you can reclaim sustainable leadership, building something that energizes you, honors your purpose, and endures with or without you in the middle of it. That's the power of alignment. It turns compliance from a cost into a catalyst for culture, for outcomes, and for the future of your RTO. So I bet you're pretty excited about alignment by now. Let's talk about how you can create it, because I promised you didn't have to create alignment through crisis like I did. I promised you there were some steps you could follow. So these are the 5 steps of the cadence method, which is the method I have created, the framework I've created, and it's pretty simple. You can do this yourself. You might want some help to do it, but let me just walk you through it. So the first step is to really evaluate your business. And evaluation is simply the act of asking 3 questions. What's working, what's not working, and what could be better? And I really challenge people to get truly intellectually honest with themselves. Like, ask yourself the tough questions on this. Where is compliance fragile? Where are your culture and your systems out of sync? Go really deep on the evaluation. Really ask your question. Really find the things that you want to maybe not find, but find them. Answer all the tough questions. The second step is to give your RTO a purpose. Reconnect to what matters most. This is about doing compliance, not just for compliance sake, but because it connects to a greater good. And when I work with people, we do purpose at 3 levels. There's the level of what gets you out of bed in the morning, so your personal purpose. There's the level of like, what benefit do you create for your students? And then there's the level of like, what is the ripple effect of that in the greater world, in the greater community or the world around you? So we think about purpose as in these multiple levels because there's a lot of value that is being created through the work that you're doing in all of these dimensions. And this creates purpose on many levels so that no matter what is going on, you're always going to be motivated. The next step is to embed your values. And I like to say that your values are like a decision matrix. They will tell you how to act, what language to use, who to include in your business, who to work with. They guide your policies, your systems, your processes. They're the how. So first you need to decide what are your values and then how to implement them. Now, by no way, shape, or form am I saying to anyone on this call that your values should include compliance, because I believe compliance is probably a behavior, not a value. But you can think about what are the values that you might hold that would result in the behavior of compliance. It might be something like excellence or rigor or safety. I don't know. You have to decide what your values are, but I'm sure that you have some value that would align with the behavior of compliance. So we work on values. The next step is to establish your strategic goals. So your strategic goals are the actions you're taking to move you closer to achieving your purpose. And we create goals over the next 12 months. So these are the things that you're going to implement to make your compliance more achievable, to reflect, to embed all of those outcomes with measurable results. And then finally, you might create a roadmap of value creation. So and this is done with the long term in mind. Hopefully that makes sense. They're really powerful steps, and they're really powerful when you bring them together, because it's the combination of these. You can do any of these steps on their own, but it's when you bring them together that they become purposeful, that they become really powerful. It's when you combine purpose with strategic goals that you get purposeful action, that you get aligned action. It's when you combine purpose with values that you get aligned leadership. So it's the combination of these things, these 5 steps working together, that creates deep alignment. So finally, I know I've taken up a lot of time. I just want to wrap up by saying, you're not out of, just remember, compliance is the baseline, and it is a baseline that you need to achieve. But it's not going to create the culture, the outcomes, or the sustainability that you're really aiming for. And leadership is where it starts. You need leadership to create compliance, but let's strive for more than that. Let's strive for compliance that really creates student outcomes, that creates culture, that creates value for you, for your students, for your team, and for the greater communities that you're serving. And in doing that, alignment is your superpower, because alignment will turn compliance from something that you have to manage into something that serves your whole organization. So as Ben takes us deeper into the 2025 standards, I really encourage you to see compliance not just as a requirement you have to meet, but an opportunity to lead with alignment, because when you do, everything will change. Thank you so much for having me. I look forward to your questions at the end.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Liz. And I think now we pretty much know that how much leadership is really important. And now I wanted to invite Ben on the stage. So Ben, I would say, please go ahead. Over to you. We would love to know more about compliance. So go ahead.
First of all, thank you so much, everyone, for spending an hour with us. Though this event is free, we don't take it lightly. We value the leaders' time, and our team worked absolute best to deliver something which is really important. So without taking further time, let's jump in, because we're already a little bit late in the schedule. So the agenda for today from my side is the culture and mindset, as Liz said, and thank you, Liz, for this amazing presentation. And probably maybe I need to think of some alignment myself as well. What can I do in that area? Well, like I said, it's very important. The culture and mindset of the leader is the most critical thing, because leader who drive or set the temperature. And if we have a weak mindset, as myself as a leader, for example, it's going to reflect to my team. It's going to see my team. So that's why it's a very important part. And that's why, Tony Robbins says success is 80% psychology and 20% tools and strategies, another part. So that's why, because it's covered the 80% of the success, it's really, really important. The next part is we will highlight some key changes of 2015 and 25 standard. What are the key important changes there? Then the next part is the quality area 4, where we discuss leadership, governance, risk management, and continuous improvement. And then there are some changes happening in the vet sector, from fines, qualification, cancellation. How can we verify those certificates and things? So make sure we are safe, or RTO is safe. And then there's some audit readiness, that how we can actually be audit ready. What are the steps and things need to be followed. So let's dive into it. So the leader sets the temperature. So I want to give you some, a story is like there are two leaders. They both pretty much the same experience in the industry, but one leader is reactive. One leader is when the problem comes, then they say, "Oh, this need to be done." Then they get stressed. There's no system in place. There's no value in place. They don't put enough time to train the people. So the staff actually do not know. And then because they don't train the staff don't know what to do and they do the wrong thing. And then staff always feel overwhelmed. And then there is a second leader who knows the values of the RTO, hire the people place the people according to their strength, train those people properly, create the system and structure, and then monitor and support the team. So I want you to put it in a chat. What, according to you, which leader do you think would be successful in the future? Or which leader anyone would like to work? Just let's put A and B. Just let's put some sort of in the chat if you can. That would be really great. Let's see if there any chat coming. Yeah, it's B. So yes, you see, it's pretty clear. Everybody wants to work a leader who actually do all those things. So that's why I ask myself that if everyone likes that, then we need to think how can we become like that. And that's why it's a very important part that we need to set. Leaders are the one who set the temperature. Leaders are the who set. That's why I always say in my team that the leaders are the most important thing, because if leader is not setting the right thing, then I'm 100% sure that that's gonna fail. Because let's example, if leader is not excited, or leader is do not want to be a compliant, then imagine what's gonna happen to be in the team. So that's why it's a very important leaders define the organization mindset, culture, and quality. And then also a compliance mindset, learning mindset. So that's why it's a very, very important things to tackle. Now let's dive into the SRTOs 2015 versus 2025. The major focus on leadership, focus on administrative compliance, policy, forms, and audit. Majority of it. Now here is leadership expect to drive a compliance mindset, a quality culture, not just a paperwork. And we will discuss more in the later slide as well. The governance obligation frame around financial viability, insurance, reporting. Here says governance include clear structure, decision-making, accountability, and transparency. Risk management reference, but often treated as reactive, respond around audit finding also. Risk management must be systematic and proactive with register review and the mitigation plan. Continuous improvement often limited to audit rectification and a feedback loop. Whereas in 2025's continuous improvement must be strategic, documented, embedded across operation and culture. So what we seeing here is a clear shift, even from a regulator point of view, toward the leadership, toward the governance. And what might have they find out in their research and the audit and everything, that because leader holds such a important role, because they are the decision maker, if leader doesn't have those credential information, knowledge about the things, then how it's gonna pass it through within the team. So therefore, it seems like there's a more detailed requirement toward governance, and it's clearly visible in SRTOs 2025. And which is a great thing, because if the leader take all the charges, things become better. So now standard 4.1, leadership and accountability. What leader must demonstrate is governing person meet fit and proper person requirement. And now you will see it's before, usually the CEO director usually ask for the completing fit and proper person. Now what we're seeing in the audits recently, that they're also asking any person who influencing, like manager, academic manager, compliance manager, RTO manager, even admin manager. Sometimes we even seen marketing manager. Now they're asking for fit and proper person. So any person who makes decisions or influence, even a board member, even a consultant, if they're providing an ongoing consultancy. So now governing all those people need to make sure that they get those fit and proper person. Even if you hire a new people who managing or influencing your RTO, you need to make sure that they are fit and proper.
Ben,
Ask them to complete the document.
Ben, your screen sharing just paused. If you can just reshare your screen and change the slide, it'll be really nice. Yes.
Can you see it or not?
Mahi, can
We can see the screen, but it has paused. So if you just maybe stop sharing and share it again, it may work. Ben, can you hear me?
Okay, I guess he's just changing the network or the Wi-Fi. He'll just be back in another 1 or 2 minutes. Liz, your session was like, your story was really inspiring for all of us, and requesting everyone to turn their cameras on if possible. We have a lot of the session which is left, where we will be talking about the new RTO standards, how are they different from 2015, and a lot of new things. And at last we'll have a good quick Q&A round wherein you can ask your questions from Liz and Ben both. So yes, we have a lot left.
Meanwhile, in the meantime, I just wanted, I have like one little question. So maybe because you have joined us to learn more about leadership and what SRTO 2025 expects from us. All I want in one word from you, if you guys, like, what was your expectation? What is in your mind? Like, what were you trying to gain from this webinar, or what is your expectations to, like, what is major thing, or maybe what is a major important, like what is the major thing for you as per SRTO 2025 alignment? Yes, I can see that. And what else you think which is more important? Knowledge. Nice. Thank you, Lisa. Thank you, Sarah. And understanding. Perfect. Yes, responsibility. This is all in perspective of CEOs and RTO managers, I guess. To learn about risk management and approaches for RTO validation. Perfect. Quality and compliance waves to all. Yeah, perfect. That's right. And accountability. Too. Restructuring. Students' outcome, approachable practice. Nice. Oh, thank you so much. You all guys, like, this is what I was talking about when I said the community. I can see we all are, like, at the moment helping each other as well, and giving, like, this gives us a perspective of each and every person, because every RTO leader thinks in a different ways. And not just RTO leaders, along with the auditors as well. I know that all the auditors have the different perspective, and this is how we get to know how we can help our RTOs and our business in different ways as well. So thank you so much for participating for this Q&A, because it was like, it popped, like, it was like a very spontaneous one. And now another one. Oh, thank you so much, Rachel. Also, one more question. Like, I would say, let them write everything and then I can go ahead and ask another quiz for all of you. And because as the changes has implemented recently, I will have one more question for all of you. Like, what was the major thing that you in your experience, what was the major change you have experienced or that may have affected your business? Or if we can, maybe we can unmute some of them if you wanted to say something or maybe share your experience. Yep, I can
Absolutely.
see training and assessment, recording, student experience, self-governance. Nice, that's correct. That is so true. Assessment has, made major impact as well. LLM, of course, yes, LLM. Yes. Purchasing IT and updating it to my own system and processes. That's so true. Yeah.
Yes.
Wet workforce. Clear demonstration and recording of continuous improvement and activity. Updating written policies and procedure. That is so true.
So Ben is joining in just next 2 minutes. He got logged off from the Microsoft Teams. His internet is all proper, no issues there. So he's just joining in minutes. Meanwhile, if anyone wants to give some inputs, you can definitely raise hands and we'll give you a chance to unmute so that you can interact with Mahi and Liz both. And yes.
Thank you. Prudential policies, that is so true. And like from all your responses, I can say like there have major changes and it has affect very differently in every RTO RTO leaders, and not just like at every level of RTOs as well. That what I'm seeing here, I can see it has affected the leaders as well, CEOs, along with the trainers, admin staff as well. And I think every single person, whoever will be writing here, they will be writing from their own perspective, like how these changes has impacted them. In written policy and procedure, policy and procedure has affected a lot. Like I could definitely say this.
And
Listening to students' needs. Sorry, go ahead.
I wanted to add something, so I've given the chance she can unmute herself.
Sure.
If Amita wanted to add something, some value to us, yes.
Definitely, go ahead.
I wouldn't add really a value. I'll just ask you a question, please. I have joined you recently on LinkedIn, and I'd like to know more about you and your background. Are you located in Australia? How long you been in the business? And what exactly you're offering?
Yes, Mahi, will you want to add on to that part?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Hello, can you hear me? Okay. With the wet resources, I would say we offer, because there is two companies, Wet Resources and Wet Advisory Group. Wet Advisory Group provides a compliance guidance. They help you throughout the audit as well. And with Wet Resources, we provide training materials that you can use for your RTOs, along with our Scrum file, RPL kit. And I would love to say, I'm going to put my website link here. Go through our website. And if you have any queries outside, fill up the form, put your question there, and you can, see our samples for free. If it is, let's say if it is for the learning and assessment kit, RPL kit, Scrum file, anything. So we provide bunch of resources. We are planning to launching our LMS as well pretty soon, but it may gonna take a little longer, but shortly, that's for sure.
Guys, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Can absolutely hear you. We were waiting for you. So now when you're back.
Yes, first of all, my sincere apologies, guys. The system dropout. So something happened which I can't control. So apologies for that. I'll continue from where we are. So but now this is the second part that.
Before you continue the session, and we were just talking about this one question which Liz and you also asked, that if the leader is not present, if the RTO owner is not present, or the CEO is not present, can the team handle it? We handled it pretty well for about 3-4 minutes. And
yes,
we may continue now.
Okay. Thank you so much, guys. So the second part is the suitability. Is the leader are suitable to oversee and direct the RTO operation? So just that comes to a question in my mind. What do you think is the suitable leader according to you? What makes the leader suitable? that would love to see what's your thought. Okay, so message coming up. Self-governance, that's very quick. Knowledge, experience, qualification, empathy, understanding, leadership skill, experience, communication, approachable. So great. Thank you so much, guys, for putting all this comments that give us some idea. And it also helped me to customize my communication as well. So the suitable leader is, according to this standard 4.1, is that the leader, first of all, needs to know what compliance look like, know the regulatory requirement. Also, as this is, I'm talking about the regulator approach, and if they don't know what is required, then they cannot oversee. I cannot oversee anything if I don't know about, and then I cannot improve. So that's why it's embedded now in standard 4.1 that the leader needs to be suitable. And therefore that if you see in the audits as well now, that whoever the leader leading whatever the areas, the auditors or regulator asking the relevant question to them to find out that this influential person as suitable related to what they do. For example, if I'm a CEO and I don't have any compliance manager, I'm just doing by myself, managing all the whole leadership area, then the like regulator want to know how you manage your operation, how you do your CEO process if you are international RTO. What do you do when you your risk management? How do you do your continuous improvement? So all those type of questions that regulator may ask to find out that you are a suitable person or not. The next thing is diligence. Decisions are informed, evidence-based, and ensure compliance with the Act and related instrument. So decisions are informed. How do I make sure that decisions are informed? Based on the evidence I have. So for example, if I get the audit of website and find out that these areas are not aligned to the standard. So based on that informed, based on that evidence that I have, I'm going to make the decision. Informed also leading to that I need to know about it. Okay, what marketing non-compliance looks like if I am managing this marketing side. The fourth part is the culture. And Liz talked about the culture, the leader foster a culture with integrity, fairness, and transparency. So that's why it's very important we leaders form the culture. And that's why, because Liz is covered pretty much in this area, so I'll move to the next slide. So there is a quick poll for what is the biggest leadership challenge in your RTO right now? A, building a compliance mindset in our team, managing competing priorities, lack of clarity, ensuring consistency across trainer and assessor. Arpit, are we putting a poll? Yeah, got it. Thank you, Arpit. So let's check for 30 seconds and see what the poll outcome is. So why we're taking this poll, it gives us an idea, and also sometimes it helps us to, get further webinars or topics or video that could help the, RTO community. Great. Thank you, guys. We got 37 response. Amazing. Let's move to the next slide. Standard 4.2, governance arrangement. Roles and responsibility of staff and third party are clearly defined, documented, and understood. So what leader must do? We need to support for staff, ensure staff understand compliance requirement relevant to their role. For example, we need to give an induction session covering tests, assessment, students, support obligation, admin. If we don't train the staff, if they don't, then there will be no system. And if there is no system, then there is no consistently action around the task. And if there is no consistency, then there will be a problem. Regulatory update. So leaders need to communicate the changes of any legislation, compliance requirement, or any internal changes that affect the staff, students, anyone. That also need to be communicated. So for example, CEO emails staff after ASQA update or policy changes. That also a requirement under standard 4.2. Third-party oversight, monitor and hold third-party accountable for compliance. Written third-party agreement with scheduled monitoring review. That also needs to be part of it, and clear accountability. Roles and responsibility are documented and decision-making is transparent. So we need to clearly define the roles and responsibility of each people. So maybe this is a good time now to refer your org chart and say, okay, is those roles and responsibility are clearly defined? Because that's what the regulator gonna ask. And based on that, they're gonna ask to the relevant people and relevant question around it. Move to the next slide, risk management. This is something very different and which is very important as well, that the RTO need to have a risk management system in place. Have a system in place, identify, manage, and review regular risk. For example, quarterly review of risk register with leadership team. So how do you think an RTO can identify the risk? So just want to see what your perspective that currently how RTO can able to identify the risk. The reports. Have internal audit. Great. Thank you, Anna. Hazard report. Great. Internal auditing. Yes, we cover. Risk assessment. Feedbacks. Yes, great. Feedback is also part of it. So see, you see validation. So there are many entry points that we can verify. That could be external audit, that could be a validation, that could be industry consultation, that could be internal audit, that could be your feedback from the student, that could be a complaint, that could be a appeal, that could be a third party. So there are many ways we can identify. And that's why it says that now RTO need to have that system in place to identify, then manage. Once we identify the risk, then how are you going to manage that risk? And once you manage it, then how you regularly review that, making sure that whatever risk you manage is actually improving, not going back to the same problem again. So that's why it's very important, and RTO need to have the system in place. Financial management. Governing person monitor financial position, performance, and cash flow. So for example, we can set up a CEO or board of director receive monthly finance report to identify the trends and analysis. And if you are a CRICOS RTO, the one of the requirement you need to make sure that your prepaid fees, and even the domestic RTO, if you're taking, for domestic RTO, if you're taking more than 1,500, and for international RTO, we need to make sure that prepaid fees actually been not utilized and been keep it in the separate account. And that comes in the financial management and then need to be checked. And we see that in every audit that is being asked as well. Conflict of interest. I think this is something actually appearing a lot as well. Identify and manage disclosure conflict of interest. And for example, the trainer that you are teaching or managing here actually also showing somewhere else, probably same time, there will be overlapping of it. So that RTO needs to effectively manage the conflict of trainer and also should have a conflict of interest register and process how they're going to manage it different situations. Child safety, if you're delivering under 18 students, we need to make sure that you follow the national principle for child and safe organization. And we have also, after this session, our team will send you a free risk register guidance and template for RTO. This is not like a generic risk framework. We have created a low, medium, high risk according to what actually happened in RTO. So your team exactly know if it's something around this area, it becomes the high priority or high risk. If something, for example, if it's related to the student related or certificate related issue, so that could be a high priority. If it's just related to internal staff alignment are not good, so that could be a medium risk. So we already predefined it. What could be the high risk in RTO, what could be medium risk, what could be a low risk. So that document could help you to first identify and then manage the risk. And then we will send this to you after this session. Okay, poll, one more poll. Which risk do you believe is the most critical for your RTO right now? Trainer assessor capability, assessment quality and compliance, validation practice, marketing and reputational risk, experience and knowledge of the team. Okay, let's first is, I think this poll is pretty quick. I think people jumped on very quickly. Okay, it seems like assessment quality and compliance is taking the major part. Almost 60% people has identified that, and that also it tells that actually it's a very important area for RTO. It's because it's aligned with the student certificates and lots of other area. So maybe in the future we might plan some other webinars related to that and how we can, add value there. But that's right. That's one of the critical area that every RTO working towards it. Standard 4.4, continuous improvement. Ensure improvement is ongoing, documented, and strategic. So we need to make sure that whenever there is that's why there's a risk register and continuous improvement. There's a bit of connection between that. Whatever is the risk, I need to manage that. And if I manage that, that could become a continuous improvement. So when you're making a risk register, make sure that the risk register and continuous improvement is actually closely aligned together. And make sure that you also put those risks in the continuous improvement and see that how you improve those things, how you making sure that that sort of problem not gonna happen again, and how you ongoingly making sure and monitoring those things. So for example, let's say my admin practice was that we were not sending course progress email properly. We identify, we put it in continuous improvement, we put the system in place. And then after 2 months says, now let me check, is this process is working properly or not? And that way it's an ongoing and strategic process. Use feedback data from audit, complaints, validation to improve. We discuss about it. That also can help us to find out the risk as well. And also that feedback also help us to continuous improvement. Make quality improvement is a team-wide culture. As you know, as Liz was saying, that when you have a culture that everyone wants to or want to improve the quality team-wide, not one person, not two people, everyone on the same boat, then things become easier. Okay, The fine you didn't see coming. I have wrote there are fines now being issued by a regulator that if a witness not submitted this much amount of fine, if false marketing, then up to this much fine can be given. If unapproved delivery outside the scope, this is a maximum fine that can be given to the RTO. And we written a detailed blog that how regulator actually count this penalty amount based on the penalty unit. So every unit has a cost around, don't take me on this, maybe 300 or 350. And if the marketing might this amount, then it goes to 60 point or 90 point. So once you read this give you idea. When I was reading the legislation and the point, I was like, this is very interesting. So I spent around 2 hours of time to find out this thing. And this is in the blog. It might help you with that. And that's why, and you know, the good part is after this, I was randomly checking 4 or 5 RTO website and find out almost 3 or 4 RTO website and marketing is also a problem. So then you could get fine as well at any time. There are quite a few RTO already got it. So just being mindful, this can save you thousands of dollars. Key risk area, marketing and website compliance, because this is marketing and website. Everyone can see it, including regulator, everyone. It's publicly available, easy to check we're doing right or not. Scope creep, unauthorized training, usually not many are, nobody's doing, or except few 1 or 2 things, because that was happened. They're given the fine around it. Later, missing data reporting. If we don't do data reporting, we get the fine. Leadership tip: conduct quarterly compliance health check. If you check it properly every quarterly, if that is your culture and practice, it just becomes easier to manage. Qualification cancellation, certificate verification, risk, trainer holding revoke qualification. So probably you're seeing from ASQA and lots of RTO being closed down, the certificate being canceled, left, right, and center, so many things happening. And I was thinking, like, how can we track out all the situation? Because what if I hire a trainer that have the certificate that already revoked? What can I do with that? And I was discussing with few clients. I thought, let me put this into it as well. Certificate fraud, because of this verification checklist, check against ASQA canceled RTO. So when you see that this RTO is canceled, and they usually put between this duration to this duration, all the certificate been canceled. So you got the idea. If you see a trainer who have a date of, let's say, 1st of January to 2024, and that is part of that RTO, you need to check that, okay, do they have any communication from ASQA that this is right or not? Or maybe you need to write an email to ASQA to check it out, this situation. But just be mindful that this is happening. Just check USI transcript as well. Require certified copy for all credential. Don't assume authenticity. Verify every new hire. That's important, because if your teacher is teaching that they're not actually eligible to teach, it can create problem. How to be audit ready? I know I'm taking a little bit over time, but I really want to deliver value. So my apologies. I will finish very, very, very quickly. Mindset first. Build compliance culture, leadership, team must think compliance. We need to have that culture and mindset. That's the main thing. If that is not there, the compliance people life gonna be super, super difficult, because then every time you just need to push it to people, push it to people, push it to people. And that's how I'm talking to a lot of compliance people said, and compliance job is not a compliance manager role or CEO role. It's across the board. And that's why we need to have that culture in place. Until that culture is not there, I cannot see that how to become compliant all the time. Train and induct. What I find it, I was talking to a lot of clients, and when we discuss all those things, what we find the root cause is, but we haven't trained the staff properly. They don't know the system and process. We haven't simplified for them properly. if I haven't simplified for them, if I don't train them on how to do it, if I don't support them how to do it, if I don't use technology to make their life easy, they're not gonna do it. And we have seen it. I have seen it in my organization as well. Like nobody's perfect. The first thing is to identify it and see, let's work towards to improve. So even me personally, which I'm talking about, I have also faced the similar issues as well. System and documentation. Then we have the clear policy, procedures, forms, and things, because now my team is ready to understand. Then they just need to have the right form to follow, right system to follow, right channel to go in, and then record those documents and stuff. Internal audit, conduct regular audit. If you do monthly, quarterly, it doesn't mean that you need to check each and every clauses every month or every quarterly. Maybe we can say this month we're just doing a marketing and enrollment. So rather than waiting for one whole year, you can chunk it down into a small step, which is not also too much burden on the team, but at least you know what's going on. Every month you're able to identify the problem. That's why, it says that when is the easy way to solve the problem? When it's a little, or when there's a big like a Godzilla? If a problem is a small, it's easy to tackle. If it's become Godzilla, it becomes super stressful to manage that. Knowledge upgrade. Leader and staff continuously refresh and upgrade their compliance knowledge. This sector is changing so much. So many things is changing. And if you don't be up to date or current, we're going to advise wrong thing to staff. We're going to do the wrong thing to the people. And then ultimately, it's not the compliant outcome. So knowledge upgrade is also a must thing. And continuous improvement. Constantly improve. No RTO is perfect. No company is perfect. No person is perfect. Always, if you have a mindset of constantly improving and getting better, what I see that's how it works. And that's why, the one of the famous book of Atomic Habit is that we just need to improve a small margin, 1% every day. And then in a 1 year, we have 365% changes. So those small incremental improvement is the critical part. And that's it from my side. I just want to say thank you to all of you for attending this session and giving the time. I hope I delivered the value to you, and look forward to see you next time.
But we have not ended up the session yet. Yes, over to you, Mahi.
Thank you. So, I know we have stretched a little bit today, but even if you have any questions, maybe we can cover 1 or 2 questions now. Or another thing is, what we can do is we can create a video for you guys so that we can cover all your questions. Because at the end of the day, you are going at the end of the session, or maybe within a couple of hours, you will receive a feedback form. You can fill up a feedback form and put your question there as well. So that's how we'll have all the questions together, and which we can cover on our upcoming videos, because I don't want to take up so much time of yours already. So once again, thank you so much, Liz, and thank you so much, Ben, for today's webinar. And I apologize to all of you for a little mishap, but thank you so much for attending our little quick quizzes which we created at that time. So I really appreciate every one of yours feedback and every one of yours input in our webinar. You guys are absolutely amazing for staying with us and being so positive throughout. So thank you so much. And as we wrap up, I'll just give a quick few seconds to Arpit or Neha if they wanted to share a few things from Wet Resources.
Okay, before that, Neha, if we have any questions, dear RTO leaders, if you have any questions to ask Liz, you can ask questions related to leadership, related to team alteration rates, or the team handling, or maybe how to take a good exit. You can ask those kind of questions from Liz. If you have any specific questions from Ben in terms of RTO leadership or new RTO standards, policies, compliance, what things to follow, you can quickly ask those as well, and we'll take a note of everything. We'll quickly try to answer a few here, and few will be answered in our upcoming social media videos for sure. So do we have any questions as such, dear RTO leaders? Okay. I just noted down a question which Christiana asked previously from Liz. The question was related to what are your views on the RTO leadership, Liz? So exactly what she asked was, I'm just trying to find that. Do you want to speak anything on what actually is your view on the RTO leadership? Though you have already shared a lot of things. You're on mute, Liz.
Yes. I'm not sure if I understand the question, Armit.
Okay. Yes. So Christiana asked this thing when Ben was speaking. Her exact question was, Liz, what is your view on what is Ben commenting now? So it was like 15 minutes back. But at that time, Ben was talking about the team alignment and the RTO leadership. It's okay. We can take it the other time. Do we have more questions? Okay. So Sarah, one second. Yes, Lisa has one question. Is there one leadership style that matches the CEO leader of RTO role? Probably Ben will be able to answer this one.
Arpit, can you please repeat this for me?
Yeah, the question is there one leadership style that matches the CEO leader of RTO role? Is there one leadership style, Ben, or are there multiple?
Okay, great question. So I think that there are many different leadership style. And there is no particular that I need to follow this leadership style to be successful or that leadership style to be successful. What I just see that what I see personally, that leaders should have that heart of adding value to people. And if I wanted to add value to people, I will find a way to work out the things that includes the student, that include my people, that include the staff, that includes the third party. What I see, when we have a heart of doing the good thing to the people and adding value to the people, everything else is come in place. So the number one could be that servant leadership. If you feel that connect to you, that you can do that way, there is no style or anything. You just see that what comes within you. That is the most important thing.
Right.
And maybe Liz can answer that as well. This is what I think.
I would add to that, like there's a lot of perception that you have to have some special quality or special skills to be a leader. And I don't actually believe that. Like, I think everybody on the planet has the capacity to be a leader. What you need is to have the impetus to lead. And what that means is to know what moves you to be a leader. So if you want to be a good RTO leader, well, what moves you to be an RTO leader? And so that means really connecting with your purpose as being an RTO leader, and knowing kind of what is driving that motivation. And if you can connect with that, you will find a way to be an amazing RTO leader, whatever that looks like for you.
Right. I guess Lisa might have definitely got her answer. Ben, we have one more question that's for you. It's asked by Sarah Pakistan. So Sarah is asking, with the fit questions for video, with the fit and proper person requirement for a team, do we need to have these verified by anyone before we are audited, or how would we ensure they are considered fit and proper person? So
Yeah,
maybe she's asked, yeah, right.
Great question. And hi, Sarah. And it's a really great question. And I think that popped into my head as well. I was like, when I was reading all those things. So let's say somebody we hire as a manager, and we ask them to do a fit and proper person, and how we would make the judgment. That is a very, very good question. So because I don't have any, holding or more information about that person, whatever they're disclosing, I actually do a submission to ASQA, that this is my high managerial agent person, new people, and this is the new fit and proper person. I submit to ASQA and I wait. If ASQA has any problem, they come and let me know, because that is the best way. Because if we make a judgment, but what ASQA sees the judgment different, then it can create a problem. So I would take that safest approach that, okay, this is my new manager. This is their fit and proper person. I'm submitting to you. You let me know if you have any problem. I hope this answers your question.
Right. So Chelsea is asking, do we get the copy of these slides? Absolutely. You will get a lot of free resources from Wet Resources, and you will get these free slides. There's, I guess, one. Okay. Yes, Samaira is asking, how do we receive the professional certificate? That you will definitely be getting after the session. Done. I will quickly ask Neha to add on some points regarding wet resources. And Neha, are you there by any chance?
Yes, I'm
Yes.
here, ball chances. You can see
Yes.
me. Thank you so
Yes.
much. First of all, sorry for my bad voice. It just turned out to be my on the bad zone in the morning itself. Thank you, everyone. And as Amir asked a really good question in the beginning, that what do we do as a company? And that would answer the question also, and what I wanted to share as well. So, Amira and everybody, we come from a background where you, as I said in the last webinar, we are like your RTO doctors. So, whenever you visit a doctor, it's not necessary that you have a problem and then only you would visit. So, it could be related to getting a normal health blood checkup. Same goes with us. So, if you want to make sure that your RTO is in a healthy position, we help you in that. That could be relating to your auditing, compliance, consultancy, or it could be related to your validation, which is a really important point in 2025. Then it comes like subscribing supplements, for example. So we are there to help you with your compliant and audited resources, including the learning and assessment kits, Chrome, e-learning. As Mahi said, we'll be soon coming up with the LMS as well. So A to Z resources as well on that front. And the last one, of course, would be the if you want to have a private consultation with one of a compliance team member or Ben for itself, that's another part that we deal with. So these are the different pillars that we work on and how this company has been formed, and we make sure that whatever is going from our side, it's quality based and it definitely adds value to you. That's the whole purpose of Vet Resources, Vet Advisory, each team member from our team. So I hope, Pamira, we were also able to answer your question, which was being missed out in the beginning, and I could just give you a gist about it. You're more than happy to fill up the sample request form on our website, which will put the link after the webinar. This will give you a gist also like how quality matters and how we are different from other people out there in the market as well. So thank you so much for listening to me in that bad host voice, but I really appreciate that.
Okay, so we do a lot of things. We're helping out about 1,025 plus RTOs across Australia, as Neha rightly mentioned. Uh, Vet Resources and Vet Advisory Group is acting like doctors to RTOs, from providing the best quality resources, be it our exclusive UE content or CPC content or any training package, be it the best in class and most engaging SCOM files or the learning assessment kits, which are audit ready. And you will definitely like it. You should definitely request for a sample. I have sent the form. We will also send you one of the forms in your email after this webinar. Also, I would personally want to thank Liz from the entire Vet Resources team's side. Liz, thank you so much for joining the webinar. Liz provides the consultancy services, and she has helped out over 3,000 leaders across US and Australia. And if you want to know more about the cadence method, definitely you can reach out to Liz. I've mentioned her email ID below. And thank you so much. Vet Resources is always there to add value to the RTOs. We'll be looking forward for our next session. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank
Yes.
you,
Thank you.
Arpit. Thank you, Liz. Thank you, Ben. And once again, thank you all for joining. And I hope today's webinar has given you clear, practical steps to prepare you as for the SRTO 2025 expectations. And on behalf of Vet Resources and Vet Advisory Group and our entire team, thank you once again to all of you. And we look forward to seeing you again on our next webinar. Until then, Take care and have a wonderful day, guys.
I will be taking 30 more seconds of dear RTO leaders. I am sorry about it, but have to take care of the marketing things also. So team, dear RTO leaders, if you can quickly turn your cameras on, and if you can give us a thumbs up or a thumbs down. If you didn't like the session, that'll be really nice. We'll use it for our marketing collaterals. If you can quickly turn your cameras on and can give either a thumbs up or a thumbs down. Okay. Great. Great. I can see a lot of thumbs ups. Thank you. Thank you so much. I hope our team will be clicking good screenshots for the same. Thank you. Thank you, everyone, team. And with the 4-5 people that you have seen, we also have a team of 100 plus more people who will be joining our next call. So see you there. Bye-bye.